lots of questions, so you will have this opportunity to ask all of the questions that you have to our speakers because they know the situation much better than we do. So please write down all of the questions in the chats, all of the languages that are good for you, and our moderator is going to read out all of those questions in whatever language is comfortable for you to our speakers. And having that said, I would like to pass the floor to Olha Stepa, my colleague, who is the coordinator of the CUTIS project. He has been working with our Ukrainian companies quite productively, and they're helping their Canadian experts. Our Canadian works with Canadian experts and helps our producers to enter Canadian market. And all how we'll introduce you with our speakers. So please, the floor is yours. Thank you very much, Tanya. Thank you very much. Pleased to welcome all of our speakers. Pleased to welcome all of our guests, all of our audience. Thank you very much for joining our webinar. Thank you very much for finding the time and opportunity to visit our virtual training. I do hope that we will not disappoint you today. So let us start. And the main reason for our event today is to have the answers for the 5 important questions. How to effectively participate into the virtual trade fair, because currently this is the only way how you can promote your products at the international level. The second question, what are the peculiarities and the specifics of the virtual international trade fairs that have already been held all over the world? What are the best virtual practices, and how those virtual practices and best practices help Ukrainian enterprises to develop long-lasting relations with Canadian partners based on trust, confidence, expertise of both experts and CUTIS project, and how to use the virtual international fairs to set up new connections, to find buyers, to promote your goods, your products abroad. And the final question, how to get your company prepared to participate in those virtual events. So this is like a huge task that we have for today. And that is why we have really distinguished experts from all of these directions. And I do hope that they will help us to cover all of those questions. If you have any specific additional questions to ask, please use the chat. We are going to monitor that. We're going to summarize all of the questions that you will have, and we'll ask the questions for our experts straight away. First of all, I would like to start with giving the floor to Maria Guzman, the expert in apparel for the exporting office in Canada and the consultant of the Canada-Ukraine project on supporting trade and export for CUTIS project. She has been helping the producers of different countries for more than 20 years already to enter Canadian markets and to set out fruitful collaboration with the buyers. She knows everything or almost everything about Canadian buyers, and she will share her own secrets in how you can improve the effectiveness in participating in virtual fairs, trade fairs, and conferences. So Maria, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you, everybody. I'm here. Do you see me? I'm gonna start sharing my screen. So thank you, everybody, and welcome to this amazing opportunity. I know everybody has been busy. I know everybody has been overloaded with work. And let's see, you have questions here? No yet. I know everybody. Give me 1 second. It looks like am I mute? Do you see me? Do you hear me?
You're now unmuted. That's okay.
Okay, because I don't see anybody and I don't hear anybody. So perfect. Let's go back to my screen. Okay. So once again, thank you and welcome to this presentation. It's going to be quick and sweet, very into the details of how to participate on a virtual trade show and how to take the most advantage of this opportunity. As Olga said, this is our new normal for now. I don't know for how long, but it's going to take a while to go back to what we used to know before. But I do have John Banker with us. He's the organizer of the ATS show, the show for the apparel and textile here in Toronto. And he's been, the show has been with us for, I believe, for more than 4 years already. And he will give you a little bit more details in depth about this specific show. But for me, I'm going to tell you the goods and the bads and the challenges, and how we can overcome the challenges, and how could we integrate our experience in a basic trade show into the virtual show. So once again, questions are going to be at the end, and then we're going to combine with the presentation that John will do after me. So basically, what is a virtual show? Oh my God, my screen doesn't move. What is a virtual show? It is especially like the same show face to face, with all the dynamics and all with the good benefits about being in a show. So this is the best way to present your products, to look for new suppliers, to look for competition, to know the consumer behavior as well during this opportunity. Regularly, we'll do it face to face. You come overseas, you pack your samples, you do an extra load of work, and you come to the shows internationally. You have the meetings with the buyers, you interact with potential buyers, and then that's a great experience. But right now, we have to use this virtual show that is going to be kind of the same, with the same quality of demanding, the same quality of interaction, but it's going to be through a platform, a 3D environment. So this is going to be the difference. But if you think about it, you have experience in any show around the world, it's kind of the same without being the same, but the same rules apply. So we talk about the pros, the cons, and the challenges. Everything has pros, cons, and challenges. In this case, is the same. The pros are very well known. It's cost effective. We don't have to travel. We don't have to pay for extra luggages. We don't have to carry on all the samples. We don't have to pay hotel. We only have to register and pay for the booth. We have the opportunity to be scalable, which means that many people, however, whatever, whenever they want to log in, they have the opportunity to do that. In the physical show, we have a limitation of participants, and the scale of the show can be very different. It's accessible to everybody, and also the precise data that you can get from the organizers with the directories and the information that is going to be electronic. It's more effective than in the face-to-face one. The cons are, again, no face-to-face networking. Business are based on relationships. Business are based on human relationships. So the first step to get a well-established, long-lasting business relationship is based on trust, is based on human relationship, is based on the way you behave in front of the buyer, the way the buyer treats you back. So in this case, we're not having this. We're sitting in front of a computer for some amount of hours waiting for somebody to pass by clicking and asking questions, interact with you through a chat. But unfortunately, this is one con that we have to overcome and get used to. Right now, for example, I don't see you. You may see me, I don't see you. I don't even know if you're sleeping. I don't even know if you're drinking a coffee. I don't know if you're taking notes. I don't know if you're boring or interesting about this, but we have to overcome these cons and think very realistically and use the advantage. Distractions are other thing, because we're sitting and we have many distractions, and you know it from experience that somebody passed by, and even though the buyers on the other side can log in at the last minute and find your booth at the last minute, and maybe you're there, maybe you're not there, and less excitement. Yes, if you like technology, this is your world. If you like to navigate, this is your world. But if you are like me, a person that oriented person, is going to be very challenging, but at the same time interesting. Everything new is interesting. So again, challenges, platform limitations, because every show can have a different platform. Basics are the same. Everything is the same in every platform. The objectives are the same. The communication is kind of the same. They don't have technologies that out of the world. It's all the same, but platforms are very different. In each event, I just visited the Las Vegas show, one of a kind. I mean the Las Vegas show, and it's a very different one that we're visiting this time with the show in Toronto. But Jan will tell you more about this platform that they create for themselves based on the needs of their customers and based on the needs of the real people passing through the show. The technical difficulties, yes, we have challenges with that. Some of us, we have better understanding, some others we don't have better understanding, and also if we don't have a good internet, we can be frozen in the middle of the meeting, or we don't hear very well because it's cutting off. So yes, we have technical difficulties, but I know Ukrainians are best in technology, best in communication, best in IT. So it won't have any, you guys, it won't have any problem. Internet lack from interesting from buyers, yes and no, because again, that's the only way that we can, any buyer can go and find a new supplier, interact with new suppliers, and have them all together at the same time without traveling from Montreal to Kiev or from Toronto to Montreal and vice versa. Time zones, yes, we talked about that with John this morning. It's 5:15 in Los Angeles, where he is located right now. It is 8:15 here, and it's around, I don't know, 3:15 there. So it's quite a interesting time zone differences, but we find the way. For example, I will let you know that it's good for us to be in charge in our morning time in Toronto. So from 9:30 to 12:30, it's a good time for you guys to log in and have the presentation of your products. More than one visitor in a booth. You only can chat with one person, you only can interact with one person, but at the same time, you can have some other people to help you. The same thing when you have a person-to-person booth. If you have one potential buyer coming into your booth and you're interacting with that person, and there's somebody else come in and another one, you are very full-handed. But if you have a person who help you, it is very beneficial. And marketing material, it is challenging to have everything electronic. Sometimes you come to the show and you just give booklets, printed information, but you have to be ready as an exhibitor to upload all your information in electronically and with good pictures, with good and clear information, because there's the basics for a nice and easygoing relationship with somebody who clicks in your booth. My tips, these are my tips that I put together based on my experience working and visiting other shows, virtual shows. The first thing that I want to tell you is be open-minded, because you need to be open. You need to think very strategically that this is new for everybody, that if you make a mistake and you click on the wrong button, or you didn't send the correct thing right away, it's going to be a disaster. No, we are all on this together. It's not only Ukraine, it's not only Canada, it's the whole world. Try to put together the best practices to move forward, and please be open-minded. Don't get frustrated. Don't get irritable because you don't understand this and that. Just keep a peace mindset and peaceful approach to the system, to the platform, and navigate. Use it a friendly way and be open-minded. Have a good internet connection. We covered that already. Log in and navigate before the show. It's very important you go, once you receive your password from the virtual show, you navigate, you go ahead and understand the platform, spend a couple hours understanding how did you click, where do you go. Is when you go to a regular show, you get a map, you get familiar with the map and say, this is where the washrooms are, the restaurant, and the booth and the segmentation of the products are here. So understand the platform, and when you do it, you're going to be an expert in navigating through the platform, basically. Schedule the webinars, go and visit the webinars. It's very interesting. You sit there, you listen about something interesting, you listen about what's going on in a specific, in this case with the Canadian show. You're going to hear about opportunities in Canada, you're going to hear about free trade agreements, you're going to hear about your colleagues working, because we're going to have a panel of presenters from Ukraine, made in Ukraine as a subject. So it will be very interesting that you guys are sitting there 10 minutes, 15 minutes, sitting into the webinars and interact, because you have the opportunity to ask questions, get to know the person who is presenting, and also get to know all the information that they're going to give you a very appealing way. Collect show information, basic, they very important. Get all the information, participant directories, electronic, which is great. We used to go around, ended up with a big bag of flyers and catalogs and a big directory of participants that you go home and you pay extra carry-on luggage or whatever extra you need to pay in order to take them home and start it there. And you don't have all that messy material. You have it all electronically, so it will be easier for you. But don't forget to ask for that, download it, and have it on your records for future opportunities. Time zone, we talk about that, Canada, because this show is in Canada, specifically in Toronto. We are 7 hours ahead of you. You are 7 hours ahead of us, basically. So think about that when it's 5 o'clock there, go back 7 hours and be mindful with that time, because as I know, buyers like to be early in every show. Buyers don't go at 5 o'clock. Buyers basically in person, and more in this online shows, they go in the morning. They tend to be in the morning. So from 9:30 or 9 when the show is open, I will say 9:30 to 12:30 before launch. That's the time package that you have to get the buyers and to sit down and communicate with them. Again, attend the forums and presentations. And the last one is when you register. I was talking to Jan last week, I think, or Monday, and we talk about how did you register. In this specific show, you only have two options: as an attendee, or as an exhibitor. So you have to decide if you are an attendee and you want to walk and set up an appointment with a potential supplier, or if you want to see a competitor because you go and log in and you said, okay, I'm going to check about dresses. Oh, okay, apparel, dresses. Who's my competitor? How can I go and see that specific company? So you have two options there. My recommendation is also, because I was talking to Young about that, you also get the buyer tag, so you can get that into the booth without asking a lot of questions, without knowing that the other person knowing that you are an exporter as well, because you are competition. So I want to know about your prices, for example, and I am your competitor. I'm not going to say, hey, hello, my name is Maria, and I produce exactly the same as you in Kiev. You don't do that. You just present yourself, hi, and I would like to know about your product category, your price range, where do you produce, how many pieces can you deliver, what is the lead time, and so on. In that case, you need to be very mindful of the registration, and Jan will give you a very specific detail about this, and more detail about if you register as buyer or you register as an attendee. I will say in this case that if you are an attendee, you register as an attendee, and then when you got the information that you have to place there and said, what is the kind of your business? What is your business? So are you a producer of textile? Are you a wholesaler? Are you a buyer in this category? That's when you may your specific information about what you're looking for. Why are you in the show? Okay, so let's go to the apparel textile sourcing show. Welcome, and let's go inside. So you have, I'm not gonna present you the link because I know Young is gonna use it and I give it to him. So welcome to the show. The first thing again, you register. Once you register, you receive a password. With the password, you log in. That's the entrance. And then you go like a regular virtual show. You have an entrance, very appealing entrance, and you go inside and you find the information desk. You have all these little icons there that it tells you exactly where do you need to go. If you need to find out a specific company and a specific booth, you have all the icons there. Right now, I don't have them updated because this is something that I took from the show 2 weeks ago, and I believe accordingly with my conversation with Jan that he has already something more dynamic and more updated. So right now you get into the show. This is more or less where you're gonna find, and then you get and you click on every subsector that you're gonna look at it. So I believe they have accessories, textile, apparel, and PPE. So I believe they have 4 different subsectors. And then you said, okay, I want to see if the Chinese, because I believe 80 or something percent of the show is gonna be with the Chinese companies, but they also have suppliers, not only final product, they have fabric, they have zippers, they have something like the product that you can find for your garments. Okay, interesting in textile. So you click on that exhibitors sector and you go there and you will find out the names and I believe the category of the products they present. So once you go there, then you click on each company that you would like to see, and then you start interacting with the person from that specific company. What you need to look for, as you're looking for textiles, you can ask for catalogs. Can I receive a catalog from you? What are your price range? What is the minimum quantity? Remember that they tend to sell a lot, big quantities. What are the minimum quantities that you can sell me? This is specific reference of fabric and how long it will take for me to receive the fabric. Right now, we are facing, when I talk to every buyer, we're facing a lack of production because there's lack of material, raw material. So I understand when I talk to you guys with some of the companies from Ukraine, they're having the same problem, the lack of the raw material. So this is a perfect time to look at the new suppliers and explore that possibility. Also, when you go to apparel sector, you will have the opportunity to see your competition. Even though we talk about China is not our competitor because we don't fall into that category because of many reasons. And for that, prices and quantities and quality are not there comparing to the Ukrainian companies is very important, and it's a very useful tool to see what's happening in the other side of the world, what are presenting right now. As I said to you, the production time and the production quantities are very different than before. This sector is also changing as much as the world is changing. So it is important to see the before and after. When you go and look at the apparel companies from China or from other country that is exhibiting, please look at if the season is the same, what is the season they're producing? Are they selling just whatever they have in stock? Are they doing new production? So please be mindful that you can use all this information and all of this shows to understand, to learn, and to collaborate together. So once again, we go and said, oh, I want to see this. Let's see the schedule for the seminars. Oh, they're talking about logistics. I like logistics. Let's go inside this webinar and register to this one ahead of time. or right away, it's at 10 o'clock, I'm going to go and see for 50 minutes and listen to for 50 minutes about the logistics into Canada and the companies that I can use to when I am going to export a container into Canada. And so that's a great opportunity to get extra information and very practical in a very fast way. So instead for the attendees again, this is the previous platform that they use right now. I don't know exactly how the platform is going to look because I know they make changes, and I said they create their own platform based on you guys needs. So I will say that I'm going to go through this one because it's the one that I have. So you click on this, you get inside already inside of the subsector, and you start looking for, okay, I need, let's see, polyester blend with cotton. What do I have here? So, okay, so you go and find out the company, and then you can click on the exhibitors, and you see it on the button. You click on the booth, and you start interacting with them. Once again, interact with the buyer, how do you interact with buyers? Buyers, if you have a booth already registered, you already have know as an attendee, as an exhibitor, they will have, when they register, they will have again the login password, and they will register, and they will look for you and collect that, and they will click on your booth, and they will make an appointment before, or they will do it directly, and they will interact with you by chat, and they will request information. You share, like when you exchange business cards in a booth, that's the same procedure, but it's going to be interacting. So they will ask you for information by chat, or they will start sending emails to you because they already have your information previously when they register and look at the directory. So this is basically what I can tell you about the show. I will say enjoy the virtual show. I will say take advantage of this opportunity. It is free to register. It is free to go. It is worth it to do it. It's worth it to participate. And if in the future, whenever you want you feel you're ready to become an exhibitor, and that will be another interesting platform to showcase your products and to be in contact with potential buyers. So thank you very much for your time. I said it will be quick and sweet. I hope it is, and is very useful for you and very clear. If you have questions, I'm here. And I know that John will have more accurate responses regarding what you're going to find, because this is, as I said, the information that I have from the previous show that they host in March. But I know they changed so many things and they upgrading so many things for being even easier and more appealing for the participants. So thank you very much.
Дуже дякую, Марія. Дякую за змістовну і ґрунтовну презентацію.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Maria. Thank you very much for this presentation. There's a lot of new and interesting facts for all of us because it's a completely new format for all of us, and we're all now equal for this challenge, both the organizers of the exhibitions and the producers and the attendees. So we will learn to do it in a new way, and to learn how we can use it all for our best efforts in promoting exports to Canada and Northern America overall. So today we also have a tremendously interesting guest who is the head of the apparel textile sourcing company group director, and we would like to listen to John Wenger, who has got up really early, I guess at 4 o'clock in the morning to join our webinar. And we would really like to ask him to share the information with us on the exhibition, on the trade show that is going to open on Monday. And we will going to have our booth that will say banned in Ukraine, and the panel discussion made in Ukraine. And we will have a couple of our Ukrainian companies participating there. So John, can you tell us more about this trade show, how it's going to be held, and what should we expect? Thank you.
Thank you guys very much for having me. I really do appreciate it. And the technology on this is amazing. I hope you guys can all hear me. And I wonder if they've switched to a male interpreter or if it's still the female interpreter. I bet it switched, but if it didn't, either way, I'm very happy to be speaking to you all. And believe me, I wake up really early in the morning and I love coffee. So it was my pleasure. And believe me, I offered to join. So I'm very happy to be here with you guys in your afternoon in Ukraine. So thanks again for having me. Maria, I'd watched her session earlier, a few days ago. Me and her had a conversation and she took me through her slideshow. And before her slideshow, I was going to prepare a presentation to show you guys the event. And she walked through it so well that there was nothing that I was going to be able to add to it. Yes, it'll look a little different. And we do have a video. We can show it maybe after I finish talking, but mostly I wanted to take the opportunity just to speak to everybody for a few minutes and let you guys know a little bit more about our event and our company. We've been working with Canada for 5 years. We started in 2016 with, of course, a physical trade show. And we heard a lot about China at the beginning. Maria mentioned that it's maybe 3/4 of our event are Chinese exhibitors and manufacturers direct. And this is true. And we bring about 12 to 20 countries to every single one of our events, whether they're physical shows or whether they're virtual shows. There's always between 1 and 2 dozen countries participating. Always the biggest percentage is from China. And we started in 2016 with about 150 booths in Toronto. And we made some great alliances with CUTIS. We made great alliances with TFO Canada that works with a lot of countries. We work with the Canadian Apparel Federation, which is one, if you guys are looking for Canadian buyers, that's one you're going to want to make sure that you get connected with. And the executive director of the Canadian Apparel Federation, I'm pleased after 5 years to call him a close friend. His name's Bob Kirk, and he's connected with all of those big brands in Canada. And we work with a great charity in Canada called Brands for Canada. And a lot of the major brands in Canada, they work with this charity organization called Brands for Canada. So we do these things where we can unite with Canada in as many ways as possible. And this is nothing about a physical trade show, even a virtual trade show. This is about connecting with Canada and the brands in Canada and the people who are connected to the brands in Canada. And we do all that and our seminars too, so we can bring everybody together and put them in the right position where they're interested in doing business. And, you know, apparel trade shows are really hard when they're virtual. Okay. I mean, we have no problem admitting that. We want everything to be physical trade shows. See me holding my hands here. It's because people want to touch and feel fabric at a physical trade show when they're buying apparel, when they're meeting a new company for the first time. This is what apparel trade shows are all about. This is why people fly across the world to go see factories and meet people until they get to know them, and then they start doing business. Well, all of that isn't an option right now. So when things aren't an option in life, we do the next best thing. And the word virtual, it really is a great defining word, because it is what it says it is. Nothing that's virtual is what it is in reality. So a virtual trade show, it is admitting it's not as good or as great as a physical trade show could be. You're going to have a more difficult time when you navigate through the show, connecting with the booths and figuring out if that's a product you might be interested in, or vice versa. Everything is more difficult, but it's very easy to go look around it's very easy if you find something to connect on a pinpoint way with anyone you want to talk to at a virtual trade show, at least at our virtual trade show. And again, I haven't even spoken specific to ours. Maria did a great job. But what our events are about, I wrote a couple things down. It's a virtual trade show is really about marketing, connections, and branding. It's an opportunity to be out there and be seen. And we have a lot of brands that are Canadian that attend these shows. And we have a lot of other brands and other buyers that aren't big brands, you know, small and medium-sized companies that come to our events. We work with Top 10 Manufacturer and manufacturer.com. These are humongous sourcing organizations and platforms that connect people all over the world, and they're based in North America, but they have manufacturers all over the world that connect with North American buyers and buyers all over the world. So when there's a virtual trade show, one of the benefits is it's easy to get to. The registration is free. You don't have to go anywhere. And frankly, you know, I'll give you guys a little secret. Once the event's opened, it really doesn't close. We market it as it's open, like New York East Coast business hours from 9:30 Eastern time to 5 p.m. But the reality is it'll be open after that. And, you know, you just won't have the interaction you will if you go in the daytime. And the technology, when you get in there, like Maria was saying, you know, it's the event's very navigatable, if I could say that correctly. And you've got to see the seminars, and you know, I guarantee you there'll be seminars that you like, because there's the made in Ukraine. And I hope you all go and show appreciation for that session. We worked hard to get it on the docket at the last minute, and we're excited and we're promoting it. And when I mentioned doing special things for the Ukraine group and getting registered. Maria was talking about registration. We make it very easy for you. I've mentioned this already to Olga. You know, we can get a list together and get everybody registered. If you guys all get a list together, I'll be more than happy to get you all registered, or we'll make sure that you have the link to the registration. It's quite easy to register, but I'm offering to see that my team registers everyone and sends back in a big group. We'll be more than happy to do that. We're rolling out the red carpet. We do want to arrange matchmaking meetings for you guys also. It's important for us to know what types of products either you guys would eventually potentially exhibit at our show, or the types of products you guys might be looking to source from other parts. You know, when people come and they participate as an exhibitor at a trade show, they do like to have meetings. And I can tell you that our group of Chinese exhibitors, there's a specific group that works with the China Chamber of Commerce. And when they heard about Ukraine being at the event, they became very excited, because they want to have better connections between China at the highest level and Ukraine, and they know there's a lot of opportunity for cooperation. So I'd really like to make sure that I arrange some different meetings. Like I also said, we have more than a dozen countries at the event, and we'd like to also offer the opportunity for everybody to come in early, and we can make that arrangement as well. The session that will be made in Ukraine is going to be on the second day of the show, which is Tuesday. The session will begin at 10 a.m. Eastern time. The event opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. And then if we make arrangements, we'll be more than happy to have everybody come in early if you want, or we can have things taking place afterwards. We'll look to make those decisions over the next couple days. You know, I think I went over a bunch I don't want to just run on and on. If anybody has any specific questions, I'd love to answer them. But I just in general want to say we're opening our arms. We're excited to have you guys as potential exhibitors next year. We've already booked our event in Toronto for 2021. The event is going to be held August 23rd through the 25th at the Toronto Congress Center. And we're really excited about that. And we're booked for 2022 as well. So we're fully committed to Canada and specifically in Toronto. And we also have another side event in Montreal, but I won't even get into that. That will also be next year. Thank you all for your time. Again, I can answer any questions. And if we want to show that video, we can. I think Maria has the link, maybe Olga does, or you guys can show it a little bit later or send the link around.
Дуже дякую, Джуне.
Thank you
Альона,
very
ми
much. Thank you very much, John. I think that we can turn on the video right now. Or
Дуже дякую, Альона. Пане
thank you very much. Thank you very much, John. We don't have a lot of questions for you from our audience. And if you will have this opportunity to answer those questions to our companies that are going to participate in the trade show. First of all, there are technical issues. What kind of information they should upload and in what formats in order for the brand to be shown at the booth itself.
Yes, we have a link, a very simple form where once you sign up, all you do is upload your items, whether they're logos or whether they're brochures, PDFs, JPEGs, all those forms. It's a very simple process.
Дякую. Тоді друге запитання. Якщо
Okay, thank you. Then another question. If we do not have this opportunity, if we don't have this opportunity to be physically present online at the booth because we have this time difference, what will be the acceptable time to answer in the chat box or in the chats? Or how can you organize the communication between the companies that represent their product at the booth and the attendees of the exhibition?
One of the great things about our new platform is that there are 3 different ways to communicate with the people in the booths. And whether they're there or whether if no one's in the booth, then you leave a message. And the people in the booth also have the opportunity to list the hours that they will be in the booth. So for instance, time zones we were talking about earlier. And even though the show will be based on, for our buyers, it's based on the Toronto and the East Coast time zone in the United States. So that's our focus, to bring in the buyers that are in that time zone. So, but I can tell you that for China, as you know, right now, it's I think about 5 hours later than where you guys are. And China, by every day, by about noon time in the event, noon or 1 o'clock, their exhibitors will probably be shutting down for the day because it'll be about 1 in the morning for them in China. So if for some reason a buyer is looking at a Chinese booth in the afternoon, they'll leave a note, and then the next morning the Chinese or any exhibitor who's not there would get back then. Otherwise, if the exhibitor is in the booth, there's a video chat, there's a text chat, and there's an audio chat, and there's ways to do outlinking where you can have like direct calls on WhatsApp, for example. And so we make the communication is very easy, and you get to know when the people will be there, and it's probably easier to connect than at a regular trade show.
Дуже дякую. Ще одне
Thank you very much. We have another question. Can we connect 2 or 3 representatives to one booth in order for them to provide the answers and to reply to the messages more effectively? Can they divide the time that they can be present at the booth? Can we have a couple participants for the booth?
That's a great question, and there can be multiple people in every booth. So a lot of companies will have more than one representative inside a trade show booth, and there can be more than one conversation going on at once. There's all these like little pop-up windows, pop pop pop, and then they start. The people can type, and then when the window pops up, you can click like 3 different options, like the video or a phone call, or you can type. So there can be multiple people in booths, and I imagine a lot of booths will have two or 3 people in the booth.
Дуже дякую. Ще одне запитання, їх нас багато.
Thank you very much. We have another question. The representative of the producers or the company that exhibits at the booth, whether will receive the full contact data of the buyers, those that will come up to the booth during the trade show. Can we have all of the contacts of the buyers?
First off, I just thought it was so interesting when I was watching Olga talk, and of course I've spoken to Olga. She speaks very good English, and I saw Olga stop talking and hit mute, and I was still listening to you ask the question. So that was new for me there. Almost enough to make
Virtual
me,
things.
almost enough to make me forget the question, but not quite. So the buyers, this platform, let me tell you guys the way it is, okay? This platform has a lot of options. So we have options to show the attendee data, to all the exhibitors, and where all the exhibitors, the people who paid for the booths, can see all the attendee information, or we can hide some of that information. And depending on our final decisions in the next day or two, that will be decided. We're still making that decision. It's an interesting choice. What I can tell you is that we have a lot of big Canadian buyers. So for instance, if 2 of the buyers from Simons were walking around, which is a very big department store in Canada, if they were walking around the show, this platform gives the option for every exhibitor at the show to realize that and send them like a notification and say, come to my booth. So on the one hand, we could make it that much of an open transparency. On the other hand, what I can tell you is we can also hide some of that information, and some buyers don't want to have all their information seen. Now, let me tell you a little bit more. Anybody who comes to your booth, if they're interacting with you, you get to know everything about them. So if every day you get a report at the end of the event, even if they didn't talk to you, where you get a report that shows the exact people who came into your booth, all of the information about them. I'm honestly not trying to sell anybody a booth here, you know, but this is the way this platform is right now. And, you know, next year when we're doing either more virtual shows or we're doing physical shows, you know, we want to have Ukraine involved with our events. And we even do have an event later this year in November that's similar. So if people are interested in getting a booth, I guess you could talk to me about the November event. But I promise everybody on this call, I'm not here to sell anyone a booth for this show. I hope you guys all come and check it out. And I hope you all come and take advantage of the sessions, take advantage of the fact that we're opening our arms to Ukraine, and take advantage of seeing what some of these meetings are about with the exhibitors, and please provide us with the main product category that your business is about or that you're focused on, because what we do professionally is matchmaking. And I'd like to have the opportunity to see if I can try and take care of that and make your guys' time. I've promised everybody on this call that I'm going to make sure your time is efficient. And I'm going to give you guys a couple specific things like the Ukraine meeting, like some specific exhibitors that you guys should meet with. And I want to try to make sure that the timing works for you guys. That's why I can have you guys enter early and have a program for you if you want that. So thank you. I hope I probably more than answered that question.
Фантастичні можливості виставки. Дуже дякую. Не хотілося б
Yes,
зловживати.
those are fantastic opportunities for your exhibition and for your show. We don't want to spend your time in vain, and we're really grateful for you joining us so early in the morning. And I would like to ask our participants of our webinar, if you will have any more questions to John, then you can also address them to us, to CUTIS project. I promise you that we will then give them to John. Thank you very much, John, for being an active participant of our today's webinar. Thank you for your time. And we're continuing our webinar and our program today. And I would like to invite my colleague from Toronto. I would like to welcome Maria Nazar, who is the coordinator of the CUTIS project in Canada, and she has been also attached to organizing the participation of our companies in another virtual trade show that has happened this year, another big virtual trade show that has been held in virtual reality, the CL trade show. So Maria, the floor is yours, please.
Good evening, Привіт. I see a lot of people that I've seen met over the last 5 years. It's nice to see your faces. Good morning, good afternoon. Okay, so I'd like to share my screen with you. See if this works. Oops. Okay. No. Oh, czekaj. How do we get out of here? Okay, there we go. So, can everybody hear me? Oh, czekaj, jasne. Czy you can hear me? Yes, and you can see my screen when I'm sharing my screen, tak? Okay. Okay, so this year, CL actually had their first virtual trade show. They had the intent of having a physical show. It was postponed, and they ended up having a virtual show. From our Ukrainian food producers and manufacturers or distributors, we chose the 2 Ukrainian companies that were most likely the most prepared to be able to participate in a virtual trade show. This being said, and it was quite successful for a first try at a virtual show. So 18,000 connections. There were, in the physical show, 25,000 visitors. And there were more countries exhibiting, and there were also more countries participating. When I was speaking with the CL people, this being because it was virtual, people did not have to get on a plane to go to CL to see or to visit the show. They just had to click on their computer. It was effective, efficient, and more countries participated in the show, which is to your advantage. The two companies that we had chosen, our team, CUTIS team, along with Ottawa, was Bob Snail, the children's, and I like them too, the candies, as well as Millennium or Malby Foods. So there we go. Next year, they are going to be from September 21st to 23rd. The first CL show, they had extended from 3 days to 5 days, just to ensure that everybody could get on the platforms, everybody had enough sufficient time to visit. It was the first foray, and you can see that on the next one, they are cutting it back to their usual regular three days. Lola, if you could play the video for me, that would be great.
Марія, я думаю, що тоді потрібно перервати.
Maria, I believe then we have to stop sharing the screen when you're going to stop the video. Yes, you have to stop sharing the screen.
Я прошу вибачення, але ми не бачимо відео.
We can't see the video. Oh, now we see the. We can't.
Зараз починає.
It only starts now. Yes.
Зараз вже працює.
Так, пані Марія, можете...
Maria, we can continuing the presentation, please.
Do you still hear music?
Yes.
so multicultural, and from small to big exhibitors come in, and I think they provide a one-stop shop for a food guy to get to know what the trends are.
In last 15-20 years, we have not organized any event in Canada, and Seattle Food Fair is the first fair. A lot of people from India have come, and we have products like masalas, we have products into rice. The experience has been good.
I think Seattle brings to the industry, the biggest thing is that the
Пані Марія,
innovation
а чи можете виключити
products and
YouTube?
it is a big
Бо ми зараз слухаємо ваш YouTube, але не бачимо картинку.
We can't see the picture, but we can hear a lot of additional sounds.
Hi, do you see me now? Is everything okay now?
Так ви можете вже повернути.
Yes, you can now continue with the presentation because we have already finished the video. Now we can see your presentation. Everything is fine.
Maria and John went through the pros and cons of this very, very well for you. As you noticed with CL, there are many buttons that people are clicking on in order to be able to connect with you. It is the most important part is probably to be prepared. We know that the advantages are that it's less expensive, and that the only expenses is the cost of actually paying for your platform as an exhibitor. It saves time, it's global. As you noticed, there were many countries, 150 if I'm not mistaken, I haven't memorized the slides, that were actually participating in the buying programs. They could connect with you from all over the world. It is quicker, more efficient. Also, CL, I know, was opened 24 hours, which meant that anybody could get on to see you at any time, leave you a message in chat or with any of the other social platforms, and you could connect with them and make an appointment after the fact. Everything's online. The other thing is it's easier to make connections. It's easier to be able to see who's speaking to whom. It's easier to attend to a virtual webinar. And also all of the attendees, they're all online. Their information is online. When they attended, they were online. So you could easily follow up with people that were bypassing your booth. This is how they worked it at CL. Again, also another thing that CL had suggested is difficult to have somebody interact with you. You can't see their faces. I can't see your face right now. So an easy thing to do is to be able to ask, to pop up a quick question so that somebody can answer the question. When they answer the question, obviously their information is downloaded after they've answered the question. Hi, how are you? What country are you from? Hi, how are you? Are you looking for candy? Hi, how are you? Simplistic questions, so that as soon as they answer the question, then obviously you will be able to retain their information. This data is for you to be able to collect, so you can manage everything. Everything's done online, so it's easy to track. It's easy to track when somebody's clicked on. It's easy for you to be able to track how long the conversation was going on, what country they're from, etc. Data and measurements are easy. Here's your disadvantages. There are not face-to-face networking opportunities as there are during a grand walking into a hall, the excitement of coming into a hall, passing somebody in the hallway, asking them to come and stop in your booth. There isn't a sample. So with the food industry, this is very important. You want to smell the food, you want to touch the product, that being packaging, how it holds in your hand, and you definitely want to taste it. Next year, CL was talking about, with the hopes that coronavirus may be abated a tiny bit, a hybrid situation where they were going to do a virtual plus physical show. In that respect, because it was going to be in the city of Toronto, that there was an opportunity for you to be able to have a booth, to be able to send your samples in advance, and then to maintain the virtual component. So you could have a representative in Toronto. For instance, if there was a Made in Ukraine booth, the Made in Ukraine booth would be whatever meters by whatever meters. It would have the samples of 15 or 20 companies. There would be 3 people in the booths. They all live in Toronto. They go home every evening. And when you require samples to be sent, the samples are sent from Toronto to wherever they may need to go. Also, if any of the buyers are in Toronto, they can come directly to the booth to be able to sample whatever it is that you're prepared to give. So obviously we all know that it's less spontaneous, and sometimes it's easier to forge relationships when you actually meet people. There's distractions, obviously, with being online. People are doing all kinds of things, and the most that they had found was, as with most shows, then there is the opportunity to be a brand sponsor. They found that the brand sponsorship is not as effective, obviously, virtually, because you cannot interact with a sponsor. This is specific to food. If there's somebody who's sponsoring a particular portion or a particular event, it happens to be a webinar, but it happens to be by a particular winery or a particular beer company. This is not an opportunity that, or as effective for sponsorship for them. Upcoming soon is going to be that CUTIS has on board is PDAC. Next year, CIAL again, and the Global Energy Show. The person who is going to be able to take care of all of you is Emma Touros. I believe she was also available. I saw her, she was online. If you have any questions, she'd be happy to answer all of your questions. These are her contact pieces of information for the future. And again, so I'm happy to have been here. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I'm pleased to answer.
Дуже дякую, Марія. Дуже дякую. Пані Марія, питання таке.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Maria. The question to you is whether you have organized the B2B meetings by CIAL between the companies and the buyers. From your experience, whether there was an important function that the CIAL offered, whether our producers have benefited from that.
Buyers program, just as there was in other years. So you register, which is free for you as an exhibitor to register for the CIAL buying program. And this is an international buying program. So not only with Canada, but with everybody from around the world that is registered. CIAL will match you. If you happen to be selling honey, they will match you with somebody in the buying program that is looking to purchase honey. So that was very beneficial. For our 2 companies, one company is currently following up on 5 possible connections and distribution. The other company is following up on 8 possible new partnerships and new distributors. And I think that's really fabulous. So for 2 companies to find at the end of a couple of days to be able to do this virtually, it's magnificent. It's really a good deal.
Вражаючі результати, вражаючі результати.
That was incredible results, incredible results. Thank you very much for really your hard work, because we know that it really took a lot of efforts to organize it all. Can you please also draw the attention of our audience to the main and let us say the most complicated issue while you were getting prepared to participate in the virtual trade show, whether it's just the same as if you were preparing to the real physical trade show, or is it has any peculiarities?
Obviously, you don't have to worry about the flight. You don't have to worry about what you're going to be wearing. You don't have to worry about if you're going to be tired, because you're going to be working on the time that you are working on. However, the preparatory work in order to be attending a virtual show is a lot of marketing material. Your price lists have to be accurate. You have to have a video. You have to have a link to your website. You have to have a catalog with your products. They are not there this year. Everything that you were doing, it was virtual. So you had to be able to upload all of this information onto your site. When you were watching the video, you could see that people were clicking on various things. So they were clicking on your website. They were clicking on your promotional video. If you were introducing a new product, you had to have a video for your product. You have to have, obviously, good quality material, marketing materials so that you can upload this. The other problem that there was, and there always has been with everybody that I've worked, there are always glitches. So everybody's on the computer, everybody's trying to upload all at the same time, and everybody can't work at the same time. So there were times where they were kind of not able, their servers were not able to sustain the amount of people. So people had to stagger out their time in order to be able to get online and to be able to get things done at the same time. I found that with the CL people, bless you, Alexander. With the CL people, I found that they were very quick. They had a very good team of IT experts. As soon as you sent a message saying that you couldn't connect or that you couldn't upload, they were there to help you, and they were quick and efficient in that respect. But there was, and I'm going to assume that for the next, I think forever, there will always be some sort of it's a machine. So it will have glitches. Things will not work at certain times as smoothly as we all wish things that were be. It's not perfect at this moment, not yet. So it was a problem.
Дуже дякую, пані Марія. Ще одне запитання.
Thank you very much, Maria. Another question from our audience, and the technical question, speaking on the price lists and this information that is included into the price list, whether this information is available for all of the attendees of the trade show, or this is the information that will be provided on demand for some certain attendee or buyer or participant. So how does that work? Do you have this kind of secured?
If I was a producer of food or anything, I would not put my price list on the website. I would keep all of my information offline. And after making a connection with a particular person, if they were willing to buy, if they wanted to buy honey in jars, they could ask you very quickly. You could provide this piece of information through a private line as opposed to the chat line that is provided by CL. This is a conversation that you would probably take offline through, as John had made mention, WhatsApp, or set up a separate call after the fact, or set up another Zoom call at another time or a date. But things that are obviously private, I would keep private. I would have available the quantities. If I was able to produce jars, honey in jars, it's one sort of situation. And if I was a company that could also provide honey in barrels and in bulk, that is a different sort of a situation. So to make sure that the companies, whomever the buyer was, to make sure that they understood how much you could give or what type of quality or quantity of product, but the actual prices I would keep offline.
Дуже дякую. Поки що не бачу я запитань, якщо ви ж нами ще залишитеся. Якщо будуть запитання...
Thank you very much. I can't see another questions yet, but you will stay with us, I hope. And if you'll have any additional questions, please write down in the chat, and we will go back to Maria at the end of the training. I would like to thank Maria. Thank you very much. And I would like to continue the experience and share the experience that we have gained by our projects for having those virtual events in place. And this experience is not about the food and not about food trade shows, but on services, because of course all of the companies that offer services that have faced during the coronavirus this opportunity, when the only possible communication way is the virtual communication. And as CUTIS project, we have been participating in some certain events, virtual big events, and they have also had some certain peculiarities as all of the services and all of the platforms where we have demonstrated all of the services available. They are all different from the product trade fairs, and I'm trying right now to share my screen as well, but it seems to be very slowly. I do hope that you can see my presentation right now. The first big event that we had was an international event that CUTIS has joined this year with our IT sector. That was the Collision Conference, that has been called Collision Conference from Home. In Toronto, usually they are non-virtual, they are also physical, but this is the first platform, very professional platform that really amazes all of the attendees with these opportunities of functions that they have presented at this platform, and with these opportunities that you might have, the opportunities that this platform gives to all of the participants and the attendees, for those who present, for the exhibitors, and for the attendees as well. First of all, that this platform really required using two screens. So in order to participate fully, in order to be present at this event, what you've needed to do, you've needed to manage the two screens. You've needed to have either computer and laptop, and of course you needed to have the mobile device. The Collision from Home organizers, they have also offered using the mobile app, that was a very easy supporter and advisor on the events, and it really helped the participants to set out and have their connection base before the official conference started. With the help of the mobile app, you were able to find the people from the companies that you would like to meet and the people that you would like to collaborate with. Then you can get acquainted with them and you can plan the negotiations, meetings, and workshop participation. The mobile app really helped you to plan your activities, to create your own schedule with all of the conversation for more than 600 speakers at this conference. That has been a huge amount of speakers that were participating there, 4 parallel channels, while there was the non-stop videos that have been demonstrated and the interviews with the professionals of the certain spheres and the specialized products from the ICT sphere. With the help of the mobile app, it will also possible for you to explore the market, so you can create your own profile, you can get to the certain events and to have the certain references and recommendations on companies, people, and content. And you can even follow it when you were not able to join it through with a desktop computer or you're away from that. So that has given you this technical opportunity to follow that on a more mobile, flexible device. You could also use the chat in the mobile app, so to basically communicating with other participants. At this year, at this trade show, there were more than 32,000 entrepreneurs, startups, investors, and the media from all over the world, mostly from Northern America, but there has been also a lot of participants from the European countries. And as they have calculated, then from this 3 days of Collision Conference from Home, that we had a couple of millions of messages that have been sent with the help of this mobile app. The second screen that they've also wanted us to use, the second screen was the web program, the web app that you have downloaded to your desktop computer or laptop. It has provided you the opportunity to follow the meetings and webinars. There has been an interactive chat if you really like the presentation that has been made, and you can get connected or continue in your communication with the speakers or the participants of the seminar in, let us say, the more private conditions. There was also an opportunity for you to build up groups based on your interests, on your certain interest, building up on what was that you liked and what topic you're interested in. There was an opportunity to meet the prominent companies from all over the world, to participate in in webinars and seminars, or even to create your own room for example, private discussions or negotiations. That was all available online. Another interesting opportunity that I have seen only at the Collision from Home. This is opportunity that is called Mingle. So basically speaking about mingle and getting up with the different people for a shared brief 3 minutes 3 minutes meetings based on the recommendation that the system has provided you with this profile of the company that you've registered while registration. That's a very interesting experience and a very tough experience and interesting. But all of the negative moments that Maria has mentioned, they were also there. You know, the system didn't work with all of this big tension that has been there. There has been a lot of load that system didn't work out with. There were some moments when the chat froze and video froze. There were a lot of technical issues involved with that, but still everyone understood that this is the first time it has been done in the world. That has been really, really good, and it was a really broad and good experience and acceptable experience, and it's very practical for the further own use. And the next virtual event for the very first for the service company was the Lviv IT Arena trade show. It has been held at the very beginning of October. There was an online conference, the IT trade show, but basically it has been based in Lviv, and it mostly has been orienting for the Western Europe and Ukraine. And of course, there was a lot of Ukrainian IT companies that represented their offers. The Lviv IT Arena, the organizers, that they had a very good aim, that have very ambitious, and they felt really responsible about that. They wanted also to make something like Collision Conference in Toronto, but considering this also the bad experience, though they wanted to do it even better. And with the help of Ukrainian developers, they've managed to do that. The developers that have built up this new platform for Lviv Arena. What was interesting about this trade show? That is also a technical conference. The technical conference was also broadcasted from Lviv. And the very same time, they had the 4 tracks for startup businesses, products, and technologies. The participants, you can see that they have been 4,076 participants, 88 speakers in 3 days of the trade show, more than 100 startups that participated in the show, and the content was uploaded for more than, so the overall content is 75 hours. It's a very intense event. What I also would like to draw your attention to is that traditionally, one of the main important partners for this event was the Government of Canada. And it happened this year as well. And as the general partner, Canada has their own event in this framework of this conference. And last year, it was in the format of the Canadian breakfast. Right now, that has been in virtual format. And we've had this Canadian meetup. During this conference, it has been a very good and popular event in Lviv IT Arena because We've engaged more than 60 Canadian companies to participate in this meetup. This is the benefits of virtual format. The people should not move or come to Ukraine from Canada. So we've represented the companies from many different regions of Canada. We had them from north, from south, from west and the east of Canada, and they represented the 60s companies, very different companies, the startups, the technological hubs, and even just simply private-owned companies that were looking for partnerships in Ukraine. The Canadian meetup was the longest event at the conference because usually, traditionally, this meetups, they last for 1 hour. Usually, the Canadian meetup was for 2 hours without any breaks. And we've had the biggest amount of the participants during this meetup because we had around 20 speakers at this meetup. So that was, again, one of our good experiences that we currently that we have had already in this virtual exhibition world experience. And the more experience you will have, the more different exhibitions you will visit, then you will have a better understanding on what is useful, what is good, what is not really good, what should you draw attention to when you're getting prepared. And on preparation, what Maria has said as well, that we're preparing for the next exhibition for the next year, and you have seen the collision and IT Viva IT Arena. They have already said that they're already collecting the registration, opening the registration for next year. Collision conferences will be held in March 2021, and Viva IT Arena will be held in October, as far as I remember. It might be a mistake here, but anyway, they've opened this registration already. So if you have some plans to participate in those trade shows, then you have to be registered already. And as far as CUTIS as a project is running up with time, then for the next year, the company that is going to provide you with all of the needed assistance if you would like to participate in any kind of event that will be either virtual or physical, if the conditions and the pandemic will allow us, then you can address Canada, Ukraine Chamber of Commerce for help. Those are all of the contacts that you need to know. You can contact Miss Emma Turas and her colleagues and her team. You can see the sites, the social media, all of the coordinates are here, and you can check out those in the materials of our webinar. We will definitely share that with you. And also would like to note down that the CUTIS project has already taught the trainers from the regional chambers of commerce, and you can also get some additional support in your regional chambers by the organization that for more than 25 years already collecting the business development and relations between Canada and Ukraine is the Canada-Ukraine Chamber of Commerce. And our chamber has the tremendous experience in communication and collaboration with support of the businesses from our two countries and two regions. So having that said, thank you very much for your attention. If you'll have any questions, please, we're ready to answer those. I can't see the chat right now. And I would really like to ask you if you have any questions to Maria Guzman, on how to get prepared, on how to be responsible in preparing for the virtual trade shows, or whether it's just the same, whether it's harder or whether it's easier to get prepared for the virtual trade show than to get a usual trade show. Because right now we have this opportunity, we don't have a lot of time left, but if you have any additional questions, please, that it will be a very good opportunity to ask the questions now. So please, you're welcome. We have some questions in the chat box. Can you see those questions? Yes, I can see the questions in the chat. Do we have any limitations? Do we have any limitations for the items that you would exhibit in the booth? I think that this is a question to Maria Guzman, as far as I understand. So is there a limit of the articles and units that you can exhibit in the virtual booth? Maria, can you hear us?
One of the benefits that we have on the virtual shows is that we can upload. It's depending of the platform, but basically we can upload a lot of information and a lot of that's one of the benefits. When, as I said, when you travel overseas and you take the samples, that's what I mentioned, you have to pay for extra carry-on, extra luggage, you have to send them, you have to know them exactly how to pass through the customs authorities. With the online virtual shows, you can just present and upload as many products as you want. The thing for me, for my specific sector, is that the most you have, the most diversified message you're going to send to the buyers. So you have to have one specific if you show everything that you have in your company is not on a good strategy regarding marketing and regarding the presence of your company. I understand you want to showcase, but you need to be very selective. Same thing with like that you do in the booth. You don't bring everything. You just bring whatever you think it is suitable for this specific market. But remember, the virtual shows are not only for Canada. The virtual show's benefit is open to the world. So you have visitors from around the world. You can have visitors and buyers from US, from Europe, from Asia, from South America. So yes, upload your information so the buyers can see very detailed your information, but keep in mind that you're saving some products for the real to one-on-one communication after you set up the first approach. Emails is a good way to do it because that's the way that you're going to send the information to the buyer. So I hope this is clear. Yes, we can upload whatever we want, but be mindful of the strategy because you have to have a strategy and you have to know why you are participating at the show. What is the target buyer that you want to achieve? So be very mindful of your strategy for the trade show. If you upload everything, great for you, but at one point, nobody's going to see everything. But you have to select what is your strength, what are the products that you can be very unique about them and showcase them and get the attention for the buyer. The buyers don't see everything for once. They see everything later on. But open the door with a well-organized booth, even online. Same thing as you do it face-to-face in a presence material world.
Дуже дякую, пані Марія. А можете ви додати?
Thank you very much. And maybe, Maria, can you please add up a couple of words about this experience of virtual meetings with Canadian buyers? Because I do believe that maybe that will be an issue that will be interesting for a lot of Ukrainian producers. And not a lot of people have the experience of meeting the buyers and only the, the selected ones. What would you advise to the companies of how to organize it? Because this is the meeting with buyers is a kind of a small trade show. So how they get prepared with the virtual meetings? So does this format has good potential for the further on development, or it's just starting? It's only starting because of the pandemic, and it's only getting broader because of the pandemic.
That's a very good question. It has a lot of responses, but let me start with this is new for everybody. In the past, we didn't do anything virtually. We used to go directly. But when you establish a relationship, a business relationship with a potential buyer overseas, eventually you're going to be doing virtually because they cannot fly to your location and you cannot come to their location every day. It's different when you're negotiating inside Ukraine or even Kiev, that you can travel and see the buyer and go back and forth. But even though without the pandemic, we face the reality of the distance. So we need to have everything ready in a electronic way. That's why when I prepare my companies for introduce them into a potential buyer, either Canadian or American, they have to be ready with electronic catalog, electronic price list, electronic, everything has to be electronic because the first approach is going to be face-to-face and the second approach is going to be electronically. By email, they download all your information, they respond, they also have their own program for you to create their designs, that you learn to how to navigate into their program. So eventually everything is going to be virtually. For the trade show, this is the new start. So when I talk to the buyers, first of all, they need to know about the show. That's the show marketing team. They have to promote the show in US, in Canada, everywhere. Secondly, they need to know how to register, because they need to register in order to participate. That's something that I'll be working with my potential buyers so they can go to the show, register themselves, and start navigating. Everything is new for them as well. So this is the first time they're going to click on your booth virtually and get the one-on-one interaction by chat. It's very tricky, but at the same time, they are also adapting. And they're very open because this is a great opportunity for them to overcome challenges. They're facing lots of challenges right now, especially in apparel and textile, because as I said from the beginning, the sourcing is not very reliable anymore. So they're looking for new places to source. So Ukraine is a good, appealing destination that they can source right now because of your characteristics and because of the size of your market. So it will be a good expression of interest when they go and look into you specifically. The way for them to connect to you is directly through the marketing that the show will do. So in this case, it will be the responsibility of the marketing team from the ATS to connect to all the buyers. John said that he has a lot of buyers and the directory is quite large. What I do to back you up, not to back up the show, is back you up as a producer, in this case with the CUTIS program, is to contact the buyers and make sure they understand the show and make sure they register and making sure that they know that you're there. Because the easy way for them to contact you is through the platform, and they look for you and said, okay, Ukrainian is presented there. That's why we're working with Jon right now in order to make appealing the group of Making Ukraine. Making Ukraine will be one chapter of their show, so they can go to the Ukrainian part of the show and click on your information and find out very easily. Once they create the contact with you, then you start the communication. So it's basically, it's new for everybody, but hopefully we will get through this and we will learn and create the relationship together.
Дуже дякую, пані Марія. Шановні
Thank you
спікери,
very much, Maria, dear speakers, dear participants of our webinar. Thank you very much for your time and for your attention. We do hope that we've answered some of your questions, and we've got the answers to the questions that we've asked at the beginning of our webinar on how to participate in virtual conferences and trade shows and how to use them for the successful export to Canada. All of the information on this event you can find at the CUTIS website and on our Facebook. Please contact us if you would like to learn something more. We had a lot of questions on how much the participation in the trade show costs and how much the participation costs. And we will ask John about this, and we will then answer that to our participants through our Facebook accounts. But finally, having this opportunity, I would like to invite you to participate in and to visit the Made in Ukraine panel that will be held on Tuesday at 17 o'clock in the evening. So you can register as an attendee, you can register for free. And I would like to ask you to use this opportunity and to feel this virtual spirit of visiting a trade show. That is something very new, but I believe that will be unforgettable for all of you. Thank you very much for your time. Stay safe, stay successful. Goodbye.